What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Vault. My name is Money, and I'm in my usual setup, but I'm very small today because this is going to be a different What Do You Want Wednesday video this week. I have received so many comments about DC, animated shows, movies, the Arrowverse, and I know nothing about DC. So I decided to go and outsource some help from a very good friend, so much of a friend that he's my cousin. Today we have the Wheeze Gaming here with me to talk about DC, and he's wearing a Batman onesie. DJ, say hello to the people.
What up, people?
You can find DJ on social media at the Wheeze Gaming. He streams all sorts of different video games. If you guys are interested in that, I'll link him down below in the description of this video. He's also Team Pepsi, for those who are wondering. And considering that so many people had reached out to me about talking about DC stuff, I felt that it was an injustice. Get it, DJ? Like the video game?
That made me very happy.
To be the only one talking about it. So I figured I would grab a diehard DC fan to talk about your suggestions with me.
What up?
Are you ready, DJ?
Let's do this.
There's some crazy stuff in here that I don't even know what it is. So
I'm ready, baby. I love me. I just went to the comic book store recently and picked up a new DC run of a comic book called Joker War. It's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
So from 2 weeks ago, we have a comment from Jesse McDonald, who says that there's one thing that they want to see. It's Funko to make Darkseid pop from the Justice League Snyder Cut. Or if not from the Snyder Cut, then it would be cool to see a comic throwback to him in the comics, because he is an awesome villain, and I think that pop would sell extremely well.
Yeah.
Now, Darkseid is the villain of the Snyder Cut, but only for a brief moment, right? From what I've heard.
So essentially the way they did it in the Snyder Cut is, if you think back to Avengers 1, at the end, they kind of teased Thanos. They showed him, and they were like the whole you can court death scene. So with the Snyder Cut, where they actually had Darkseid appearing multiple times, but it was in that Thanos-like role where he didn't do anything.
Okay.
And they kind of sent Steppenwolf from the last movie to be the Loki and kind of invade Earth for Darkseid.
So Darkseid wasn't necessarily the main villain. He was more or less just kind of teased through the movie, right? Okay.
Yes. And Darkseid is essentially the Thanos of the DC universe, if not more dangerous, in my opinion, because he has like a crazy backstory.
Okay, that's pretty cool then.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, is very, very intimidating for the Justice League.
So I'm looking at the pops that they did release for the Snyder Cut. They did a Wonder Woman in a white dress. They did a Darkseid metallic. They did a Superman in a black and white suit and like the generic superhero landing, like fist.
Oh, that's
around.
yeah.
They did Desaad.
Assad, yes. Assad, yes.
And then they did a Darkseid in like a throne, kind of like a Thanos type of throne, you know what I mean?
Yep, on Apocalypse, yes.
And then they did a 4-pack of those 4 characters metallic, which was exclusive to the Warner Brothers shop.
Who were the 4 that were metallic? The same 4, right?
Superman, Wonder Woman, Darkseid, and Syad.
Assad. They left out the most important villain, and I'm not kidding. Her name is Granny Goodness Money.
Whoa. See you later.
Nah, she's apparently like up there with like DC villains. Like she could mess up like a lot of the Justice League.
Okay.
Interesting.
So do you find it interesting that Funko decided to do for the Snyder Cut only 2 members of the Justice League and then the 2 villains? Cyborg, Flash,
Batman. Hello.
Batman, yeah.
They left. So the thing to me is they left out Steppenwolf, and from the original Justice League that we got in 2017, which came out on my birthday, and I'm still very sad about it. The Steppenwolf that we were given is not what is in this. It's the same movie, but it's a million times better. And Steppenwolf just looks more like an intimidating villain. Like, yes, he's CGI'd, and that was like a big complaint, but he looks more like how he should have. He looks completely different, and it's worth releasing a Funko Pop for it.
Right, that makes sense. It's just so interesting because they did a Justice League line when the original movie came out. And they did, it was like a variant they would do where they had each member of the Justice League holding the mother box. I don't know what that is. I don't remember. Okay. I'm sorry.
So the mother boxes are a piece of New God technology, which is what Darkseid's race is. Like, think about in Marvel, you have the Eternals and the Deviants.
Yeah.
In DC, you have the New Gods who rule Apocalypse and New Genesis. New Genesis is essentially the Eternals, and Apocalypse is the Deviants.
Okay.
Darkseid is the king of the king of Apocalypse, and he is the king of the new, like the bad New Gods. Okay. And the mother boxes are essentially their technology, and it allows them to generate massive amounts of energy. And they're also able to open what are known as boom tubes, which are basically like instant.
I thought you said boob tubes. I'm sorry.
But they are boom tubes are essentially their way of transporting around the galaxy, and they also like are able to adjust based on dimensions. Like Darkseid's essentially himself is an extra dimensional deity, and the Darkseid that we know is an avatar for his power. Essentially, like if the real Darkseid came to our universe, he would crush it because he's that big.
Okay.
So it adjusts him to be able to enter and exit and what have you. A mother box is also what made Cyborg. Like, it's why Cyborg is metallic.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They changed that a little bit because the Cyborg that we know from Teen Titans is more his dad built him. But the new thing that they've been running with the new 52 is the mother boxes made him the way he is.
Gotcha. So that's kind of interesting because when that original Justice League came out in 2016, yeah, they did every character with the mother box except for Superman, I think. So everybody had a variant with the mother box except for the one character for some reason.
There's a scene in the movie of him and Cyborg literally pulling the mother boxes apart. You could have done a 2-pack of that.
Yeah, they have Cyborg, they have Flash, they have Wonder Woman, they have Aquaman with the mother box, but they didn't do Superman for some reason.
I don't get Funko sometimes.
That's also kind of like why I was surprised that with this new Snyder Cut, they only did 4 of the characters, because for the original movie, they at least did one of each of them. They did Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
And they did like remember the Chrome 3-pack we had from the video that we made?
Yep.
That was a part of that. They did Flash, they did Batman, but they never did any of the other characters. And then they just never, like, the Snyder Cut is just such a small line. You know what? That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Ridiculous, because it has such a massive following. This has been building since 2017. This is the most intense internet movement I've dealt with to get something to come out.
Right.
And there's also more characters that they can release. I mean, I could say spoilers. I don't know if you want me to, but I'm gonna
put a spoiler warning on this video so you can talk about the movie freely. Yeah.
Martian Manhunter's in this movie. Martian Manhunter is the general from. Did you ever see Man of Steel, Money?
Yeah.
Remember the general that Superman talks to, the African American gentleman?
It's been a while since I've seen it, but sure.
He's been Martian Manhunter this whole time.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
He's been Martian Manhunter this whole time, which begs the question, what the hell has Martian Manhunter been doing? Like, literally, General Zod destroys Metropolis. Doomsday fucking murders Superman, and Batman just sitting there like, go team, and Martian Manhunter doesn't get involved. Steppenwolf shows up. He doesn't do shit. So, granted, this is just a side note. Zack Snyder filmed the scene at the, like, when it happens with the idea that a character was going to be in mind.
Right.
He wanted Jon Stewart Green Lantern and Ryan Reynolds Hal Jordan Green Lantern to be in that end scene. Right. Warner Brothers said no, so they settled on Martian Manhunter.
So that begs a good question. I wonder if maybe because Jesse was talking about how there's so, like you said, there's more opportunity for more pops from this Snyder Cut. I wonder if maybe because of the embargo that was around this, and that the trailer only came out like, what, a month before the movie was released on HBO Max?
They barely did a marketing. So the marketing was crazy in the month, but there was nothing.
But there was no build up to it, right? So I wonder if maybe Funko wasn't given a lot to work with other than put Superman in the generic landing pose. Here's going to be Diana in a white dress. You know what I mean? Like, maybe once the movie has been out for a while and gets the run on DVD and stuff, we'll see like a full spoiler fill type of thing. Because they do that with Marvel movies. They do like a pre-movie wave, and then after the movie has been out for
Relax. We know that they spoiled WandaVision a week prior.
In Shang-Chi, are you kidding me? The entire character cast, they released Shang-Chi.
Like, do I want to be surprised in the movie? Kind of, you know.
But I wonder if maybe we'll get a full, a bigger line down the line once the movie's been out for a little while longer.
They also have the whole nightmare sequence at the end, which is what's the term? Chased for variants, or just variants is the term? I don't know.
There's chases and there can also be variants, yeah.
So the nightmare sequence at the end of the movie, because remember in Batman v Superman there was the nightmare sequence, right. And then now they're doing another one because timeline shifts, whatever. And there's nightmare versions of Batman, Superman, Mera, Cyborg, Flash, Deathstroke, and the Joker. That's a massive thing. Like they brought Jared Leto's Joker back for this,
right,
to film a whole scene with Batman, and it would be an amazing 2-pack. It would just.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they would do that whole like different, like a 2-pack of them together, like pair the characters together and have them be in that variant. You know what I mean? I haven't seen the movie, but maybe they're like kind of like blackish. Maybe they're kind of translucent. You know what I mean? Like maybe give them a little bit of like a dynamicness to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be very interesting because they've never shared the screen except for that scene in Suicide Squad with like the chase scene, but they never actually had like a sit-down conversation. But to me, and I know a lot of people don't like Jared Leto's Joker, you could feel the tension, like all of their history just in that one conversation. Like,
right, which is how it should be.
Like, I'll tell you, like, there's one line where the Joker looks at Batman and he goes, "Look, take this card, like, if you want a truce, take this card." And he literally goes, "But if you don't want this truce, tear it in half, and I'll gladly have a conversation with you why you sent a boy wonder to do a man's job."
Right.
Like,
hello?
Like, I literally heard that, and I was like, he literally just told Batman to square up if he has a problem. Like, that was amazing to me. Oh, I need you to watch some.
I know. I'm sorry. I've been busy. I'm sorry.
You're getting your master's. I'm not mad at you for that. But like that line itself, like it's just this stare. And he's like, "So why'd you send a boy wonder to do a man's job?" And he just looks at him. I'm like,
holy shit.
Right there. Like, wow.
So to move away from the Snyder Cut a little bit, a lot of people were also suggesting other DC properties in terms of like the Arrowverse and in terms of like other retro DC things, which I know you're very familiar with. So I thought maybe we could talk about that a little bit as well.
On it, let's go.
So I apologize if I'm mispronouncing names. I'm going to do my best here. I have a comment from Shahir Khan who says, "I know this probably isn't going to happen, but I want them to expand on the Gotham show line. One character specifically, Jerome Valeska, would sell very well. They could also even add some older villains to the Flash TV show line, such as Savitar. He would look great as a pop." Now, this is why you're here, because I haven't seen any of this stuff, and they seem very passionate about wanting this. So it seems like it's something that Funko should make.
Yeah. So let's go with Gotham first. Gotham was it started off a little rough for me. I'm not going to lie. Like, I watched the first 2 seasons and then I backed off. But then there was a massive push from like a bunch of just like friends of mine and like the Facebook communities I'm in that I talk about these things with. Surprise, I'm in those weird communities. I'm a huge nerd. But they said they're like, you have to watch Gotham season 3, season 4. It ramps up. So Jerome Valeska is hands down, I'm not even joking, top 3 Jokers for me. Like, so the whole show is built around like you get to see all of the characters before they're like the known versions of themselves. You get like the Penguin when he
look it up while you talk. Go ahead.
Look up Jerome Valeska and look up Jeremiah Valeska as well. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So you get to see all the characters and some new ones, but you get to see them like in their pre-stages. Like you see the Penguin when he was just a grunt in. Yeah, man.
Oh, it's the kid from Shameless.
Yes, he was amazing.
Got it. Okay, he's very talented. He's extremely talented. Yeah,
fantastic. He started doing a lot more when he was in Shameless. After Shameless and Gotham, he got a million roles.
Yeah.
So he was the proto Joker, basically. Like they first introduced him in like season 2, and the way they did it, like there was like a case or whatever, and he's like crying, and all of a sudden he just looks up and he has like a deranged Joker smile, like his face just changes. So what they went with was a line of the Joker in the New 52 where he cut his own face off and then put it back on as a mask.
Okay.
And really weird. But he was a amazing Joker, and They ended up doing the whole twin route, which I didn't really like so much.
Mhm.
But they basically gave us two versions of the Joker. They gave us the more deranged psychopath version, which was Jerome, and then he had his brother Jeremiah Valeska, which was more in vein of like the Jack Nicholson, Batman the Animated Series kind, where he's more reserved, but he's like still psychotic.
But still menacing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could do an amazing 2-pack with the two of them because they're literally, it's the same actor, which is great for him. He has amazing range, but it's a good 2-pack because it's two different types of the Joker.
Now, does Jerome always have, so in his arc in the show, does he have the face mask the whole time, or is it something
Jerome it gets the face cut off and that stays?
But is that the whole that happens during the show is what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's part. They show that in the show, and there's like a whole weird like rebirth thing that happens for the characters. Like he dies, he flat out dies, and then I don't remember because I haven't watched the show in a while. But there's something that happens that causes him to just legitimately come back to life.
So I'm wondering if maybe what they could do with this character for a pop is that maybe have him just the Joker by itself with the weapon or whatever you want to have with him, and then maybe have him have that 1 in 6 rarity chase where he has the stitches on his face.
That'd be cool.
That seems like something that people would be into, in terms of making a collectible figure rather than just making another Joker pop, giving it a little bit of rarity towards a moment of the show that people, judging from your reaction, would love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he wasn't always the staple. Like his face was stapled back on. Like it was really gratuitous.
But I'm sure you could see the staples and the stitches and like the deformity to it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then for Jeremiah, his twin brother, he has more of that white face, like calm demeanor, the brim hat, the purple suit, and all that stuff. So it's like
more classic looking.
Yes, like he's more of the gangster style, and it looks really good, honestly. But it would be a nice way for them to bring like these more characters. And I don't know what they've done for the Gotham line, but like they also never referred to him as the Joker because Jared Leto, like licensing things. Right. But Jeremiah and Jerome, they literally were like the Joker.
It'd be a cool 2-pack or maybe just a single with the chase. I think that would be pretty cool, yeah.
Exactly. What was the other one? The other one was Savitar, yes?
Yes. They also suggested Savitar from the Flash TV show.
Okay. So the Flash is
a superhero.
Yes. The Flash TV show. The Flash TV show for me is a great show. The Arrowverse is fantastic. I wish it got the budget that Marvel is getting because it would be that much better. That being said, that's my last take on that. So Savitar was the main season 3 villain of the Flash. It was him and someone called Dr. Alchemy. Basically, Draco Malfoy played him at Danny.
Cool.
Yeah, and Dr. Alchemy was like the person that like brings forth Savitar. They also introduced Kid Flash in this season. Yellow suit, all that cool stuff. Savitar is, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen it, he's Barry Allen from the future. Okay? Savitar is Flash can time travel. This is where it gets really crazy.
Right, of course, yeah.
Iris West dies. Barry goes insane and becomes Savitar. To fight Savitar, Barry had to make what's known as a time remnant. So there's 2 of him, so he could fight Savitar. Savitar killed everybody except for the time remnant and sent the time remnant back in time to become Savitar.
Okay.
So it's literally like the Terminator style loop where like he has to create himself to like do all these things.
Okay.
It's very confusing and it took me forever to get it down.
That makes sense.
The cool thing is, though, Savitar was a very, very good villain because the whole season we're like, who is this guy? Why is he always one step ahead of the Flash? And there's even a line, Barry goes, who are you? And he goes, I'm the future, Flash. And everyone was like, oh, like, I'm the future of the world or something. But, like, if you look at the script, it literally is, there's no comma or anything. He just says, I'm the future Flash. And everyone, when they read that, they're like, are you kidding me?
Oh, that's bad writing.
That's so bad writing. I was like, I'm the future Flash. And I'm like, okay, like,
is he addressing me? Is he just talking to me?
Exactly. And then there's a variant they could do because Savitar, like, he needs to wear that suit of armor because he's so powerful that if he doesn't wear that suit, he'll burn up from the Speed Force.
Right.
So you can do the variant of evil Savitar, who is Barry just with his face burned because he ran too fast.
Right.
So you could do a variant of him in just his Flash uniform, no cowl on, and the burned face.
Sounds like they could do a lot of stuff. They could do just a standard one, then they could do a glow-in-the-dark version, then they could do maybe like a retailer exclusive where the helmet's off. You know what I mean? Sounds like there's a lot of different options for it, right?
There's a lot of options. And I don't know what they've done with the Flash TV series.
So they just announced, it hasn't come out yet, but they just announced during Toy Fair this year a new line for the Flash license, because they already had done some pops. They did Killer Frost for New York Comic Con 2018.
Oh, good. Very nice.
But they just announced a new Killer Frost because the other one is so expensive.
Yep.
Bloodwork.
Okay, he was a good villain.
The Flash that glows in the dark.
Nice.
Godspeed, and then a Godspeed that also glows in the dark. So what they like to do with the Flash line is they love their glow in the dark variants. So for this character that they suggested, I think a glow variant probably would make a lot of sense.
What he looks like with the armor and everything. That would look amazing. The metallic and the blue, like you could do a lot with Savitar. He's an amazing. He was probably one of my favorite 3. Answer me this: is there a Reverse Flash pop out? Yes,
there is a Reverse Flash. Let me find it. So I just have to search it up real quick. I think it goes for a lot of money, actually. I'm just not too familiar with the DC stuff. Let's see.
That's what I'm here for.
So we have Reverse Flash from the comics, where he's black and white. We have a DC Universe, like classic Flash Reverse that goes for $510.
Yellow and red and black, right?
Then there is a Reverse Flash from the show. Goes for $8. So it's that classic look that people are trying to get their hands on.
Yeah, the classic look. I can see that.
Yeah.
Because like the costumes and like the shows, I'm gonna be honest, like they're very like, think about like the Marvel costumes that they wear. Like even like in the movies, like they don't look like leathery and like weird and like the Arrowverse shows, except for like the newest one, like the Flash's newest suit looks very like sleek and like how it should look, but like early on it looked leathery and like weird.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to a comment from Urban Deity, who suggests, well, I'll just tell you what they said. They said, I've been patiently waiting for a Young Justice Funko Pop line, and it has 3 thumbs up on it. So I think that a lot of people
pops.
I don't think so. Who's in the Young Justice? I'll look them up one by one.
The original Young Justice team was made up of Robin, Dick Grayson Robin, which love that to death. Progress him to Nightwing, easy thing. Aqualad, great character. Superboy, clone of Superman. He's literally a clone of Superman. Kid Flash, and Miss Martian. So like another like Martian Manhunter's like cousin-ish thing kind of thing.
So I know for a fact that there is no Miss Martian, and there's no Aqualad. But there have been iterations of Nightwing and Superboy. But it's not from Young Justice, though. You know what I mean? Like that's what DC does, is they go back and they do the classic comic looks, but they don't correlate it to a specific franchise or show, which I think would sell insanely. Like even Teen Titans, which are up here in the background. I don't know if you guys can see them.
Though, like that's a sin.
Young Justice is in that same vein where it's extremely popular. It has a core following. It has characters that have not yet been done, period, like Aqualad, but they haven't done it. But instead, they give 20 different Chrome Batman variants for every single major Comic-Con that happens. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of the thing that I think is frustrating for a lot of.
There's also 2 Robins in the show. The Young Justice, like they do a young and I don't want to say old Justice because that's just wrong.
No, it's fine.
But they progress to like more characters in the show. Like they bring
I'm going down the list right now, and I see Static. I see Impulse. Who else? Batgirl, Lagoon Boy. You know what I mean?
Like you have Wonder Girl. You have another Robin. You have Speedy. You have Blue Beetle. You get Beast Boy. Like you get like a lot more characters that you can play with. And it's astounding to me that Funko, like unless they come out and say like, we're waiting so we can just ride it out more because we have more characters. But like, you have to like keep going. You got to progress more. You can't just do one shots and you pop here and you pop. Like, you got to keep going. Like they did one for Crypto. Crypto the Superdog is in the show.
Right.
Do a Superboy and Crypto next to each other and I'll be happy.
I think there's a Crypto the Superdog pop, but it has the it has like the DC superhero logo on it, like the comic logo, as opposed to being related to any sort of specific avenue from any show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then you could also do like like the Justice League from Young Justice. They look different. Like you said, it's them, but they look different than how they have in other medium. So
And DC collectors are no different than any other collector. If I like a specific character, I don't care if I already have a Star-Lord pop. If it's a better looking Star-Lord pop, I'm gonna go out and get it. You know, why not make it? You know,
yeah.
especially when DC gets shafted all the time. You know what I mean? It's just
Oh, I'm well aware of how often they get shafted. Please,
so
please.
now we're going to talk about a comment from my friend Brooke, who's 95 Pop Snaps, and
Okay.
then Shahir Khan, who we talked about their comment earlier in this video. They talked a little bit together in the comments of Brooke's comment, so they little bit of collaboration here between the two of them. So Brooke says,
It's a
Brooke
collaboration.
Brooke says, I've been thinking about some others since your last video, and I definitely think we need some more pops from the DC shows, Arrowverse, such as Supergirl and Black Lightning, who have their own individual pops, just the one character, but they don't have full lines for those shows.
Okay.
And then also new shows like Batman, Superman, and Lois. Is
Superman
that
and Lois. Yeah.
really?
Yep.
And Stargirl. And then
Okay. Yeah.
Shakir replied to that and said, I would love to see them get made, although they don't know if they would personally buy them.
Yeah.
But they would love to see more flash pops such as Savitar, Wells, Jesse Quick, The Rival, The Thinker, stuff like that.
Okay. Wow. We got to unpack a lot here. So
So kind of like in this real big realm of DC TV shows, you know?
the Arrowverse has a lot of room. The Arrowverse started with just Arrow, then branched off, and literally, like, Arrow started this entire thing. It literally just feels like the big bang of DC shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me that Supergirl doesn't have any pops. You said she has one of herself, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and look that up while you talk. This way I can validate that.
Yeah, so Supergirl is a good show. I watched some of it, but I didn't dabble a lot. I dabbled in enough that I have like the knowledge about it, but I didn't watch the show from beginning to end. Supergirl has a lot of core Superman villains. Brainiac is in the show. That is a massive Superman villain. That being said, it's just weird to me. They started with Arrow. They gave Flash some things. They gave Black Lightning and Supergirl a pop each, but they didn't like give some villains. Like the Flash has Reverse Flash. He has Killer Frost. Arrow. I don't know who Arrow has. Oh, I know he had a Deathstroke pop. I had that one. There was an Arrow one. I think there was
there's a lot of Arrow pops and a lot of characters from Arrow specifically.
Yeah.
But outside of that little bubble, there's not a lot of it. Like I'm looking at Supergirl right now. She was a New York Comic Con exclusive in 2018, shared to Barnes and Noble, now worth $115. And Black Lightning was a show-only exclusive last year to San Diego, and was limited to 3,000 pieces.
Black Lightning is a really good show. That astounds me.
They each have their own boxes that say Supergirl or Black Lightning, as opposed to like, you know, just the generic DC type thing, you know?
Okay. But Black Lightning's a great show. Like it's the closest thing we're gonna get until the movie comes out, until like a live action Static Shock. That's the best way I could say it. And it's a really good show. I don't know the ins and outs of the villain, so I'm not gonna act like I know the show, but I think that's a missed opportunity because that's just another line that they can release. It's just more fun, like money they could bring in.
Right.
What were some of the other ones that was said?
But before we go away from Supergirl and Black Lightning, I just want to say also that like there's only one Black Lightning pop, and it was limited to 3,000 pieces. And if you didn't win the lottery, you did not get it. You know what I mean?
Suits. So Supergirl, like that's easy money. Just
right. So like make a new Black Lightning in a different pose, because that would drive up the rarity on that Black Lightning and that other pose, because people want to have the full set. And then for people who don't want to spend the few $100s on that Black Lightning, then you release a brand new one in a different mold that satisfies that audience. And the same thing with Supergirl. $120 for a Barnes & Noble shared exclusive is ridiculously stupid.
Yeah.
But because it's the only one, it drives up the value. So if you were to do a Supergirl line with, let's say, a Supergirl, a variant of Supergirl where she's flying, and then the major villain, right? Then you have a full wave of Supergirl, and that value in that original one goes up for those who collect for value. and then it's easy for people to get their hands on a Supergirl pop who don't want to spend at least $115 on it. Like it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. My question to you is, how many pops generally come out in like a wave?
So it differs. Sometimes they'll do an announcement. I consider a wave like 3 or 4 pops or more. Like you have Pokemon who consistently do 4 pops per wave,
Yeah.
you know. But then you have things like Fortnite where they are like, here is 14 or 15 pops of different skins from this past season, you know. So it varies between there. But whenever they release a new set or expand on a set in an announcement, that kind of considers it to be a wave. You know what I mean?
It's crazy to me that they didn't capitalize on like one of the major crossover events that Arrowverse tackled, which was the Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's a major DC comic run, and they had every single character that has basically ever been in a DC, like their shows, in it. They brought back.
I'm gonna look up Arrow. I'm gonna see if they have any of them. So
they brought back the voice actor who was Batman in the animated series to play a future Batman. Like that blew my mind. They brought back Brandon Routh as Superman to continue his role from Superman Returns. They had new characters like the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor. Arrow became Spectre. Like that's a lot of developments that happen in a show, and there's no products for it. That's just weird to me. Like, so just give characters some show some face with the characters.
Here's who they have from the Arrowverse show. They have Black Canary, Deathstroke, Arrow, John Diggle as the Arrow.
Oh, as the Arrow. Okay, cool.
Oliver Queen, is that who?
That's Arrow. Yeah.
Felicity Smoke.
She's the guy in the girl in the chair. Sorry.
Speedy.
Which Speedy?
She has a red mask and a red hood.
Oh, it's Thea. Okay, that's Oliver's sister.
Malcolm Merrill.
He's the Dark Archer. Did they have a Roy Harper?
Nope, that's it. And then they had a variant of Speedy, but that was it.
Was the variant? I'm wondering if the variant of Speedy was Roy, because that's like
she's holding a sword instead of a bow. That's literally the only difference.
Okay, no, that's fine, but that like you can't not have Roy because Roy was the original Speedy.
Yeah.
Like the show went the route of having Speedy be his sister, but comic books say that it should be Roy Harper, and Thea being Speedy was fine in the show. Then they went the route of her going into the I don't want to get into it. It's too much. But like it's cool to have the variants, but you have to have the one that's true to the comics and then have the variants. Like you should do show first and then comics. Should be the other way around.
Because the thing I think about it too is that like I think in the same is true for Marvel. There's a lot of characters from the comics who I don't think a lot of people know. Like for example, I don't know if I can speak for you as well, but like I probably wouldn't have heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy if it wasn't for the MCU. Like I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure that
no, it's true.
Yeah, so like I think that maybe like the way to do it is to go to these TV shows that have made these characters more relevant and do a full wave to get everybody excited for it. And then once people are excited, then you release the comic versions and then people are going to be like, "Oh, that's what they looked like." Well, I love the character in the show, so I want to get the comic version. They kind of go hand in hand with each other. Where do these shows air? Where do all of these?
The CW.
CW?
Yep.
Now, I wonder if maybe there's just some sort of licensing issue with CW. Maybe that's what the roadblock is, I guess we'll never really know what goes on behind the scenes, but maybe CW's like, listen, we know Arrow sells, just give us 6 variants of Arrow. We don't give a shit,
Arrow's been canceled. Arrow's been done though. Like the Arrow ended like a year ago. When did Arrow end? Let's see that.
There is like 8 variants of Arrow.
Arrow ended January 28th, 2020. So the show has been ended. Yeah, concludes on January 28th, 2020. Like it's done. So move on to the next squad. Like
give them some representation. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like his daughter became Arrow in like the last episode or 2. Give me a smoke, a pop. She was the Arrow. Like
Brooke also mentioned Stargirl. Well, she just mentioned current DC shows like Superman and Lois.
Lois Lane.
Superman,
Anyway,
Lois,
so she said
Stargirl,
Batwoman too, right?
and Batwoman. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so Superman and Lois is. It's crazy to me that they took so long to do a Superman show, but I get it because you got to do it right. Like it's got to be done right.
Right.
Like the
Right.
movies haven't been the best. It's very hard to do a Superman like show because you can just mess up anybody.
Right.
But
like how do you get a character like that depth when they're so powerful? You know.
exactly. And Henry Cavill is a great Superman, but the gentleman playing him, I forgot his name, but he is doing a fantastic job as Superman in the Superman and Lois show. Give the man his credit. I got to know his name.
I'll look him up for
But the suit looks fantastic. The animations for his powers and how he flies, all of it looks fantastic. I watched episodes 1 and 2, and I think 3's out. I haven't watched that one yet, but they just like they recreated the 1938 Action Comics pose of him holding the green beamer above his head and making his grand entrance. Like he just looks like a great Superman. Like he's doing a great job. And
Tyler Hoechlin.
I don't know how to say it. Hoden, something like that.
Hoechlin, yeah, whatever it is, yeah.
But he is a great Superman. And the Superman and Lois show was something that happened a long time ago. It was a show they did for a while ago in like the 70s, 80s, something like that. And now they're bringing it back because they have the technology and the ability to make it look good.
Right, yeah.
And they're tackling themes like minor spoiler.
We get it, yeah.
His two sons, like they talk about his son being in the show, Jonathan. And I think his other one's name is Clark after himself, or Connor. Jonathan and Connor. They went the route of Superboy and his two sons.
Yeah.
And they're tackling the theme of like, you might get powers, you might not. And they're like tackling themes like that. So that's 4 pops out the gate. Superman, Lois, 2 sons.
Right.
Done deal. And they also introduced a new version of Lex Luthor from a different universe, which is even crazier. And back to Supergirl, they brought Lex Luthor in, who was played by John Cryer from 2.5 Men, which is hilarious to me, by the way.
Right.
So they have like these options. Batwoman is another good show. It tackles a lot because Bruce is allegedly dead. Don't know where he is. And what's her name? Ruby Rose was great in the first season. I watched. People didn't like her too much, but she looked great in the suit. She had a physicality, like presence to it. When she crossed over with the Flash and she made her appearance, like I was like, holy shit, like she's Batwoman.
Right.
Then she left. They recast her as somebody else.
I remember that happening. Yeah.
Really well, and they just recast her a 3rd time to be the role that Ruby Rose was. So they're bringing in.
So I wonder if maybe with that, like they don't want to make any sort of merchandise from that show because it's been recast so much. Like it might be difficult for them to kind of capture the essence of the character without definitively saying, okay, this is this actress or this is this actress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the Superman and Lois thing, like that seems like a great 2-pack to do of just the 2 of them and have it be a super limited, like Black Lightning was, like a Funko Shop exclusive limited to 4,000 pieces for the hardcore collector fans. Yep. Good luck. Like that's any sort of collectible market needs to have hard to find pieces or the market just falls because there's no chase pieces. So like maybe down the line doing a full wave of this show, but I think out the gate doing a limited run would probably be the best way to do it to test the market too, because it could not sell out. Like you could have something for 4,000 pieces, people aren't into it, and then you just sit on it, you know?
But it's like you just did one, like you just did a Superman and Lois 2-pack. Like in your opinion, would a Superman and Lois 2-pack or just Superman himself in the show be a better option? Like for market purposes, I'd say just Superman because I don't know how people feel about the actress playing Lois Lane. I don't know if she's like doing well, but like just another Superman market, like Tyler Hoden, Henry Cavill. You had Brandon Routh. You had
Robert Pattinson.
He's Batman, you bastard. How dare you? Granted,
That's another video.
Rob Bat will do an amazing job as Batman. That is his legal name now until the movie comes out. Rob Bat.
Rob Bat.
Anyway, they have a lot of opportunity with these DC properties. I get DC has had a rough run of everything they try to do.
Yeah.
Their animated shows and their TV shows are well received. They have a whole movie universe that's animated that does what the DC live action movie should have done.
Right.
They have a lot of opportunity. They have a whole wealth of characters that they can just do a Justice League line, do the core 6, and then just start throwing out people.
Right,
Like,
and you can do small waves after that. Like, okay, here's 4 characters in a glow-in-the-dark variant of somebody. Like, okay, we'll see you in 6 months with a few more. Like,
exactly.
that's all people care about is representation. People just, when you see Marvel getting zombies, Venomized, everything from the MCU, they have a box every other month at Amazon, which has surprise pops inside of it. And then DC's box gets canceled. You know what I mean? Like, it's about the representation, and DC fans just continually get misrepresented by all toy companies because it's just, here's another Batman, here's another Superman, shut up. You know what I mean? They're not giving the people what they want.
Right, and I get that DC is hard to do merchandise for because they don't have things that people like Batman v Superman was very divisive. Like, you're not going to make a lot of pops off of that. Like,
Right.
Justice League the first Justice League was dog water. Like, they're not going to make anything off of that. But you still got to, like, do the things. Like, there's comics that are out. Like, they have a million new comic runs that are going on. Like,
try stuff. Like, just see what sticks, you know?
Exactly. I just bought a comic book on Sunday. It wasn't the Joker one, I'm sorry. It was the 3 Jokers comic. And they tackle a theme of that there potentially has been 3 Jokers a lot going on the entire run of DC. And they have 3. Like, it's a 3-pack. You can do the comedian, the gangster, and the psychopath. That's 3 done.
Right.
Is there a Joaquin Phoenix Joker pop? I doubt it.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I doubt it. But, like,
So.
that movie was fantastic, and they didn't do anything with it.
Right.
And I love Marvel to death. I'm not going to bad talk because I love all comic books mostly equally. Here's a question for you. Why are we just getting a Static Shock pop now?
After all these years, yeah. I know.
And
It's phenomenal. It's the comic version of Static Shock. There was a leak that showed that it was going to be a part of the animated series Static Shock, but instead the Hot Topic released that it's going to be the classic comic Static Shock, not the animated show that we used to watch on WB Kids. So it's not even, again, going to that animated show. It's a classic comic look, which I don't like. I'm nostalgic for that show I used to watch, you know, which is another misstep.
And I'm not mad about it, but it's just like, you know what people want. Like, you literally know what the people want. It's not hard to figure out what DC fans want. Don't give us Batman. Don't give us Superman. Give us everybody else.
Literally anything else.
There's a million. Ready? Watch. I just shot a Nerf gun and hit a fucking question pop. Throw it out there. Give me Martian Manhunter. Here we go. Ready? 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 Here we go. There's a Superboy pop. Where is it?
DJ, would you like to plug yourself on social media so people can go follow you and see what you do?
Make sure you guys follow the Wheeze Gaming on Instagram and YouTube. I'm streaming different games all the time. I post content on Instagram. I like to think of my Instagram more as like a news resource for a lot of different things going on in the movies, TVs, comic books genre. I do polls now where I'm doing competitions of Nickelodeon versus Nickelodeon. Money, did you vote today?
I did.
iCarly or Cat Dog?
iCarly.
Wow. Okay. And hot take for people that watch this, my next competition coming out is going to be a Disney and Pixar competition.
Oh.
What movie reigns supreme?
Wall-E. Always Wall-E. And I will link all of DJ's stuff down below in the description. DJ, I couldn't have talked about DC without you, so thank you so much for hanging out with me and doing this with me. This might end up just being its whole video because it's almost an hour long. I don't know how I'm going to be able to condense that down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this DC discussion. This is something a little different for the channel because I am such a Marvel boy. I don't really pay attention to DC that much, so very awesome for DJ to be here with me. If you guys liked this sort of video where DJ and I talk about stuff, like the video down below. Maybe we'll do more of this in the future. I don't know what's going on. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. Helps the channel grow, helps me make more content for you guys watching at home. DJ, any final words before we go our separate ways, Captain?
Give DC a fair chance and Give DC a fair chance. Warner Brothers doesn't know what they're doing. Hot take. And Joss Whedon is the worst human being alive.
I will agree with you on that. I agree.
All right.
As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to collect what you love, even when what you love is 3,000 different Batman. And as always, guys, I'll see you soon.
See you guys.